This is the tale of a group of people settled in the southernmost country of the African continent in the western Zimbabwe. This 1.5 million and growing populace has been believed to come together as a tribe or community called Ndebele back in 19th century as an extension of Nguni people. A series of fight between rurals for the power along with the differences in language and culture led to the breakdown of the tribe into the two, the North Transversal Ndebele and the South Transversal Ndebele. The two Ndebele groups were not only separated geographically but also by the differences in their languages and culture. The North Transversal were highly influenced by their neighbors Sotho and adopted similar culture practices, while the South Transversal spoke a different variation of the standard Izzy and Ndebele. Communities long followed marital beliefs pertaining to dowry and isolation signed towards its social backwardness. Although people are now becoming modernized and there is increased rural urban migration, some elements of this culture are unlikely to fade away. Whereas the transmission from childhood to adulthood is a moment of joy and celebration for the family members. The Bella culture is distinguished by its art, clothing, and paintings. Andebella people express their art through wall designs, clothing, accessories, and more. Of all, wall design is one of the most common yet popular art forms practiced by the community. The wall art served as a means of communication. The art of wall design was born when Andebella people were at the war with the warriors. Through those hard times, expressive symbols were generated by suffering people expressing their grief. These symbols were the beginning of the African art form. During the war, these symbols emerged as a means of secret communication or code between subgroups of the Ndebele people. The vibrant symbols and expression portray communications of personal prayers, self identification, values, emotion, and marriage. Since then, symbols for people emerged as a means of communication and expression. Even after the war slowed down and ended, people continued making the wall paintings, as people still continued seeing it as a mode to communicate. It slowly grew and turned into a tradition, backed by the norm of not letting this tradition die down. It was left onto the females to further mentor their children about this. Wall designs encompasses few basic components like symmetry, geometrical patterns, abstract form, colors, and lines. Despite being so simple, the wall design surprisingly communicated a lot, which is worth questioning. How did simple geometrical patterns and lines communicated to the people? What is the significance of geometrical shape in the art form? We can assume that it may have to do with the ancestral practices or the tribe's preference to choose simplified designs. We can also observe a similar presence of geometric figures and simplified design in the clothing and the accessories of the women. The wall art of Ndebele people is a mindful play of geometrical patterns like triangles, circles, squares, and more. All of these shapes were made manually with no scale or measuring instruments. It showcased how, with minimal or no tools, people practiced such beautiful art forms. Later, a thick black border surrounded the shape and a bright color was filled in. The early Ndebele people relied on natural pigments, soot, ash, and clay for the colors in their decoration, while with the evolution, people started using acrylic paints with five main colors: red and dark red, yellow to gold, a sky blue green, and sometimes pink. Color helped in communicating the message of the wall art so as to how they can mean status or power of homes owners, offer prayer, announce a marriage in the home, or can represent a current protest. It's striking how early Ndebele didn't use paint brushes and practiced finger paint to color, which was later followed by using chicken's hair to make brush. The act of making use of natural available resources to perform the required task shows how the community believed in exploring and adapting to the given situation. Surprisingly, these simple wall art not only help people communicate secretly during war or express themselves, it directly imbibed a sense of self-worth and pride for the Ndebele women. Yes, women played an integral role in the upliftment and continuation of the art form. It's the women who work long and hard to finish these walls and are noticed by the outside community because of their talent and expression. A well painted home shows the female of the household as good wife and mother. She is responsible for the painting of the outside gates, front walls, side walls, and usually the interior of her home. Underbella women's artwork is internationally recognized and appreciated. Tons of women earn livelihood through it. Besides the wall art, women at times to engage in beadwork and sculpture to pass the time. Considering how these simple looking painted houses emerge as a complex system of tradition and creation, why did women possess an upper hand or superiority over men in the art community? It's something worth thinking about. Is it due to the superstition of females being artistic, or did people really view women to be capable of performing the art form? It's amusing how the wall art was born out of the need of the war conditions, which took its form into a means of communication or expression, and is till date seen as a traditional art practice and a tool of women empowerment. The community has long preserved and practiced the wall art. The community still exists, but its practices, components may have shifted or changed with the change in generation and time. That leaves us with the question, how is the wall art viewed now? It's striking how the art form is still given an equal importance as that of before. The only difference is the expansion of resources and tools, which has made the working much more efficient. The NWL people and their art form still continue to inspire people across the globe.